Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and ready to go for day number 2 of week 7 here in the LCS Academy Summer Split. I am ready after that heck of a series we had to start us off. Now we get to dive into Golden Guardians Academy taking on Evil Geniuses Academy.
Yeah, we're really excited for this one too. Recently, Golden Guardians has actually had an amazing set of games. I think I drew something out for you, which is like in their first 3 weeks, they went 2-10, and then the next 3 weeks after, they went like 7-5 or something. Like they've had a really incredible run of games and an improvement drastically from the beginning of the season. So I want to give tons of props to Golden Guardians who've been able to turn things around a little bit, and EG who have been like the classic 1-1 squad throughout the entirety of the split, currently sitting after getting dropped to 6th place yesterday. Obviously, they want to really hard compete and make sure that TSM, who also has been kind of in this weird state of like having good play consistently, and they want to maintain that playoff spot, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, such good players to talk about for both these squads, and a lot of improvements across the board through these. And as we get the rosters up on the board, there's one that sticks out to me, and especially because of maybe some personal reasons, but as well as just because I'm really hyped to see this matchup. We got to see Tony Top whip out his Jax yesterday against 100 Thieves and go to town with it. But this time, your Oakman's the man himself, the Captain America of NA League of Legends. We got Niles for Golden Guardians in that top lane matchup.
This is going to be a really fun one. I think Niles in some of these games has started to take a really heavy team fighting role, but you know that like early checking, that strategy,
it's there, man.
Like, it's never going to leave. And that the combination of these two, these are two of, I think, the most carry-oriented type like players that we've got in the top lane throughout all of Academy. Vipers on that list as well. But like when it comes to like wanting to be able to not only like team fight, take over games like that, but also play to their lanes, these are two of the biggest ones we've got. And across the board, I think Yunbi, Jojo is also a really fun matchup, but they can tend to play a little bit more reserved, play a little bit later in the game. Team Luke's Prismal are both really good at carrying for late game fights and things. So I think top lane is where we're getting the bulk of our action today.
Yeah, especially the top side of the map. And you know, we wanted to talk a little bit more about Yunbi versus Jojo Pyun, but I want to talk about this jungle matchup first, because I feel like it's going to dictate a lot of what we see for these individual matchups, because we see contracts, right? This jungler who loves to get tools available to himself, right? Loves to get those individual leads, loves to be really strong, but as well can play around the team so nicely. And on the other side, Rosethorn, not too shabby himself, has been able to set up these solo lanes a lot for Golden Guardians Academy. And as we get into ban phase number 1, this is where the meta of this best of 2 really starts to unfold, and we get the Lucian ban away from Golden Guardians Academy. Xin Zhao, the response from EGA.
Yeah, Jojo Pyun not wanting to give that one over to him, making sure Golden Guardians, they've done their grunt work. They know all these things. Set as well, which is a multi like champion flex across a couple of members from the side of EG. So really, GG not wanting to give over comfort, flexibility very much here to the side of Evil Geniuses, which is understandable. I think our jungle matchup's also interesting because Rosethorn has so many different styles that we've seen him go to, where it's like he can play that lane support, you can play like the Sejuani types for team fights, you can play Trundle for like early aggression into lanes, you can also play like the dueling stuff, which I don't think fits perfectly among Rosethorn, but I do think that variety of styles that can be played to does bode well against Contracts, who likes to be this kind of more primary type carry. And after what we saw yesterday, if you can get Rosethorn in a position to play this one-on-one pretty well the way that Kenby did yesterday, maybe that's another strategy here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think Rosethorn could do just fine in his own right in that kind of matchup. Now, I do want to go through the bans that we did see here. Golden Guardians take away the Set, the Lulu. On the other side, we have the Thresh, Senna banned away. Viego, first lock-in for GGA.
Wanting to take that one away from Tony Top as he plays it really consistently in a bunch of different lanes, but you give away, I was going to say Lee Sin, but the Gwen as well, just immediately taken here from the side of Evil Geniuses Academy. Not wanting to give away Lee Sin after yesterday, I think learned their lesson at least a little bit as the possible flex comes through for both of these champions out. But either way, just powerful champions being pulled off the board. No bot lane information yet either, so that's something to consider as well from the side. The GG Academy might have to take something into bottom lane here if they want Prismal Newbie to be on the front foot. There we go.
Yeah, so it's going to be the Ziggs. There's obviously still a little bit of flexibility, but we've been primarily seeing the Ziggs in the bot lane from here on out, or at least from these past couple weeks. So they get the double lock in here, though, so they've picked up a little bit of differing pieces. You just still have flexibility with the Viego as well. They go ahead, and looking like at least to lock in the bot lane. So the Nautilus Ziggs down there potentially very strong for themselves.
And I don't think Team Luke's plays too much with Callista. I think that's something that hasn't really entered the pool too heavily yet. So the consideration that I've got is either Ezreal, which is something that I'll go to, and Tristana's also always in that wheelhouse as well as being really big comfort for Team Luke as well. So those are both possibilities.
You don't say.
Yeah, you don't
9
say.
games on the champion.
Incredible on the champion. He just plays it all the time. Absolutely. It's one of the better ones. I think Ezreal is the better response to the likes of Ziggs, which is why you're seeing it come in here. In fact, it played out last game, and you saw the reason why. Like, Nautilus can't pull it most of the time because you've got the arcane shift. Ziggs can't punish it as heavily as you'd like to because, like, even the bombs are easy. Like, you can walk at them out, you can arcane shift away. You're far enough away to where the bomb has reaction time to it, things like that. And it's safe in the laning phase that you can play far enough back. You can hold waves effectively into the likes of the Ziggs and wait for the scaling to come alongside. So that's another consideration for why Ezreal's been picked, and Team Luke wanting that one for himself in this game.
You might be wondering why I have a giant smile on my face. Maybe you're not wondering, but I'm going to tell you anyways, because EGA ban away Niles' GP. And maybe it's not in the meta. Maybe it's only a niche pick. Maybe it's something Niles. But it's just funny to me to see these kinds of picks banned away from Niles because of how strong this player has been in the past and still can be and has been, right? For Golden Guardians Academy. I love seeing targeted bans towards it because that means EGA know their stuff. They know where they want to approach. They know how to be a detriment to GGA, at least in the terms of the plans that they want to go for, as we get the Jace ban away from him as well. And the Yuumi LeBlanc were banned away by GGA.
It is confirmed that Mazel hates good play and League of Legends and fun champions because apparently he just like enjoys watching people suffer and not have the champions that they want. You want to see Jax banned too?
Put all those words in my mouth.
You want Jax
He's not banned, all right?
Well,
he's not banned.
You want him banned. Otherwise, you're licking your chops at that being banned away as well. So there's that to consider at least. As it is solo lane focus on a couple counts. I do like that Yuumi, who's been kind of rising in power and priority a little bit as of recently in some places popping up, banned away from the Ezreal, as that combination is unbearable to deal with, especially into a lane that tends to scale a little bit better. As now it's the Leona for Mystiques, who likely will want to be attacking the map more than attacking the Nautilus and the Ziggs. It's not impossible, of course, but again, it's kind of difficult with how far back they can sit. And look how late Aurelia comes into this draft.
Yes.
Goodness me.
Yes, the double instant lock-in by GGA is going to be the Aurelia and the Sejuani. They have a serious composition coming up here. A lot of melee focus there to pair well with that Sejuani, but they also have a ton of damage to come through in the side lanes, but as well as the team fights. I got to see what the last pickup is going to be here for EGA. They're still looking for a solo laner here with Contracts potentially taking that Lee Sin, and it does look like it's going to be the Sylas.
I was going to say the Zillion had me a little excited, but I knew it was never going to come through here, so instead it's not going to. So you've got these fun lanes to deal with between the Aurelia and the likes of the Gwen, which I think actually is Aurelia favorite after some of the changes that have come through, and I expect that to come out. Maybe. I know that matchup is at least one I'd like to watch come through. I know Viego's in that same vein of champions who are capable of taking the one-on-one against the likes of Gwen as well. And this also opens up mid lane too, where it's melee versus melee matchups where it's double AD melee lanes for the side of GG against the double AP lane,
which is crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah. But the other
they
thing,
slipped up to the last second.
They do, as you would expect. Again, I think Aurelia is the better of the two matchups into the likes of the Gwen. But there's two caveats to this, which is number one, the stun has to come out in instantaneous succession, so you can't do like a backwards then forward because you're able to block it with W as Gwen. So you have to like throw it forward in front of you and just snag her as she's like in the midst of everything. So there's that to consider. The other thing is Rosethorn with exhaust, excruciatingly difficult to deal with two laners with melee attacks to have to deal with. So these lanes for EG Academy under some real firepower against the double melees with Sejuani and exhaust, the CC, the easily stackable passive with the stun, it's not going to be fun to deal with here in the early parts of the laning phase.
Now that's where I got to turn my focus over for EGA to Contracts on this Lee Sin, right? It's going to be rough. You're facing a Sejuani. It's not going to be the funnest when you have a lot of the synergies coming through and a lot of the communication to find the map movements. But Contracts on this Lee Sin has shown how good he can be, and especially yesterday for me it was the fact that they were able to pick apart fights against 100 Thieves where they looked like a very stacked composition going into team fights, objective fights, and things like that. And in this one in particular, Contracts early advantages need to be there because you do have that setup later on. You do have a decent amount of pick out and a decent amount of side lane pressure, but it all lies on the early game that Contracts can have on this Lee Sin.
There's also quite a bit that the Sylas is able to accomplish, like the number of ultimates that are useful between like Nautilus ultimate, Ziggs ultimate's good sometimes. The Sejuani ultimate is really fun as well to use on the likes of the Sylas and things of that sort, as well as like the through damage that comes out from Gwen. The counter engage setup is here from the likes of EG Academy, but again, these early lanes are really difficult to try to deal with. So Contracts has got his work cut out for him because he's powerful and sometimes would like to accelerate on Lee Sin, but this is a rough matchup to do that into. You can't fight Sejuani super early. You've got easy lanes to win with in 2v2s against Sejuani because of the CC that you bring. So you have to find these more individualistic plays. I think this is a real test to the skill of Contracts coming into this game to pick this Lee Sin and to have to find these effects into what is a powerful jungle lane setup and a very defensive bottom lane to boot.
That just gets me so excited because we have seen Contracts be a monster in that jungle position. I gotta say, my heart's a little sad. It's all good, whatever. I'm not gonna be sad for long. But the fact that we're probably not gonna see too many fireworks towards bot lane, it's okay. It's okay. But they're probably gonna leave Team Luke and Prismal down there by their lonesome. We're gonna see potential roamings from Mystiques and Newbie as well on the map to try to get those synergies down across for the junglers in Rose Thorn and Contracts.
You're sad because more people's mains weren't banned out. It's just the Gangplank. Could have been the Jax, could have been the Tristana, could have been all these other things. Could have been the Rise for Yunbi, could have been all these things. All those champions are still up.
You know what?
All those champions are still, you're not able to smile.
It's too bad we can't have 2 champions per person. We should turn it into a fight game where like if you get like half health, you can swap in your second character and it's fine. Right? I think that's how League of Legends should work.
No, you're wrong.
Well, we're going to talk about actual League of Legends here. As something else that I want to dive into maybe and get your mindset on a little bit. You did talk about, the top lane matchup, Tony Top versus Niles, the Aurelia feeling a little bit better in the Gwen. But how, and not necessarily having seen this matchup too often, the Viego into the Sylas, because this matchup is a secondary one that we really wanted to focus on because it can be very integral to how the objectives come down, how the movement around the map happens for both these teams.
It's harder to play a Sylas early. Viego is very tough to duel in a lot of cases for melee champions because, just getting extra auto attack procs, extra on hit procs off on anybody is already hard to deal with. And this is one of again, Sylas has good damage, not great damage. Even the empowered autos and the Kingslayer do change quite a bit of the trading pattern that can come out. But I think also Yunbi's Q does quite a bit, and getting double auto attack procs poking off like that makes it super difficult outside of pure all-in situations alongside Jojopyun to find that. I think we're looking more for where Jojopyun can support skirmishes as a second, third in option more than playing the Initiator or something like that, and then using some of these ultimates to fight through the remainder of what's coming through. Because I think the initial engagement out of GGA in any situation, be it the Viego in a one-on-one, be it the Aurelia in a one-on-one, be it anything that's coming out, that initial burst is what needs to be repelled from EG Academy. And if they do, all of a sudden you've got Sylas who can sustain a fight, you've got Gwen who can sustain a fight, you've got Ezreal who can win you a fight in a front-to-back situation. There's so many of those longer tools to use for EG Academy, and that's what you're looking for here, is that you don't want that initial just upfront fight to go poorly, because that's where GGA really shines. And it's Jojopyun, I think, also in the mid lane that epitomizes that, because that same thing happens where if you take a quick trade or initial engagement against a Viego, hit you with auto Q, auto, all of a sudden half your health's gone, and Kingslayer's going to bring you back up, but then your one big trading tool is down. So it's once those resources are burnt, the rest of that fight gets a little bit crazy. So from there, I think that's what EG's looking at. I think that's what Jojopyun's looking at. Don't go for aggressive stuff early on. Focus on looking for skirmish roamers and looking for team fights that you can be second, third in, or an initiator off the back line.
Yeah, and I do believe we're going to be getting into game here pretty quickly. I believe there was a pause on the side of EGA to start off the game, but we'll be getting in as soon as everything is ready to go. Magic! You speak about it, it happens. We hit the rift for game number 1 between Golden Guardians Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy.
There wasn't a pause. They lied to you. They told you that to make your feelings feel better, Mr. Mizzle.
I don't think Griffin would lie to me. Just saying.
He would. He already has. He has. There was no pause.
I'm not throwing you under the bus here. I'm just saying I'm out of this one. My hands are clean. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're on to the rift. We're gonna talk about League of Legends here. As we talked a lot about the focuses we wanted to see, and I gotta harp on it a little bit more, as the spotlight, as we see Nestle observe, the spotlight has to be on Rose Thorn versus Contracts. And Rosethorn has been around. You know, speaking, I'm going to talk about contracts later, but Rosethorn has been around in our lives specifically for a while, since, you know, SGC, seeing some of these things come through for Rosethorn and the development. We've seen him as a versatile player that plays multiple styles, going into contracts, one of the best junglers we know in the scene, right? The one that can play these games and completely dominate them. This is another test for me, I feel like, for both these squads. Contracts especially wanting to prove that he still is that super dominant jungler, and Rosethorn just trying to keep tabs, trying to keep the team as a whole moving forward.
Golden Guardians has been trying to be committed very, very vehemently to this development, where like you had Niles step up, Iconic step up, players like that stepped into like the LCS roles, and then you had players like Rosethorn and Yunbi and Prismal come from like some of the lower age. You also even have Chime, who now stepped up to the LCS roster as like these developmental players that came in from some of the amateur league to take over. Look at that trading, the level 2 early from JoJoPyun, and he capitalized it on it instantly. That makes that lane so much easier now because that advantage. Now Tony top.
The cheese!
Wait,
the
can you
cheese
get that
is real! Oh, he's gonna have to follow it up. Now it's burning, but still down. Now JoJoPyun is here. Do they want to turn this around? Tony top looking for the snip. No, he didn't expect it! Niles walks into his death, and all of a sudden it's turned on its head. JoJoPyun gets the first blood.
Where's the call? Where is your information at? They know that JoJoPyun steps out of that lane. There's no way they didn't know that that was going to be a possibility. They like walked blind into that brush. It's like they had no like conception whatsoever that that was even possible of happening. But JoJoPyun, that early level 2 trade to push back Yunbi, the immediate shove on the lane. Now he even contracts him.
My God, he just doesn't stop.
He,
he does take the blue, little healing from Rosethorn with his smite, but he loses his jungle. And now look at the jungle CS. This is Contracts making a statement here. It's 16-4, and he's gonna get more.
This is like, it's such a risk. Like, the last person I saw do this, at least on stream, was Will, and he did the same thing. Rune went top lane, found an immediate kill, and then got destroyed by End. I referenced that last series. Same thing happens. Rosethorn thinks, okay, I'm gonna go top lane, I'm gonna get the Aurelia rolling as fast as possible, try to find it. They almost make it work into Tony top, but Tony top had better trading and everything during that process, and JoJoPyun was able to respond faster. So now, Rosethorn has lost a ridiculous amount. Niles has lost a ridiculous amount to the earlier stages. I want to see exactly what happened here. Look at that deep flank from Rosethorn, man. Look how far he had to wrap around to find this gank into Tony top.
And I'm looking at mid lane. I want to see pings. I want to see what came down there, the communication to come down, because you already see, you know, Yunbi is just under tower. Unfortunately, just left there. Oh, nope, can't talk about it, because Niles is dead under tower.
There's 3 members here. They could even go for more if they really, really wanted to.
He flashes, nice moves. He's in the mist. He can't be targeted, but he's still taking damage. Here it is. A lot of damage back. Tony top. He's dead.
Yep. They couldn't reset the tower aggro at any point, but I do like they are able to actually make that one work. So big props, they're able to find that one with the 1 response kill. Also during that process, at some point, Yunbi found a play into bottom lane as well, because I believe that Mystique's died during that process as well. So there's that to consider too. As you see Rosethorn's down there as this top lane dive had come out. They are really putting pressure into this matchup, making sure the Aurelia is going to get shut out. This was that bottom lane play that had come through. Yeah, it looks like at some point that Mystique's had gone down. Yeah. And then this was the remainder of the play where, again, I like the initial play where they're like, okay, JoJoPyun's going to be able to tank the initial part, maybe get some health back with Kingslayer, ends up taking 1 too many, and then trades it off immediately to Tony top, so they knew they were trading 1 for 1 there, but the damage had already been done.
Damage already done early. EGA striking early, about 1.3k in the lead for themselves. As it's been the Contract show getting the early aggression here. Now JoJoPyun looking to go in for some aggression himself. Contracts is here to back him up. Newbie gets a beautiful dredge line. JoJoPyun goes down. The resets are there. You got TPs, but maybe this isn't a fight that you want. EGA lose another as a double kill goes down.
All right, that was a little aggressive from Team Lucas and Ezreal, teleporting into the back line of 3 completely full health members, as it's just blow after blow being exchanged here from the side of GG and EG. These 2 teams just relentless to start off this early game on the front foot. That time, they were able to find themselves a solid play, getting the kill onto JoJoPyun and also getting onto Ezreal. This was that play, I believe, earlier from bot lane that had come through. Have it here. It's a level 2 Rose.
Yeah. Hey, you know, they still get the kill at Mystique, so hey, that's all that really matters.
It is. That is all that matters. So that's nice. That retrieves at least a little bit of the gold advantage. Now top lane, there's 4 members here from GG.
It just doesn't stop, man. We got the carousel turning early here. Rosethorn's dead first. Now Mystique's the target. Can they get him? They don't actually turn it onto him. And now you've not lost Niles as well. Yunbi left out to dry here by his teammate Newbie, as he will go down as well. And just like that, 2 more kills given over to EGA.
This is just complete wild aggression. We are 6 minutes in, and there are 10 kills. Rosethorn playing on the front foot, trying to get back some of the early advantage that have been lost. Finally, a Nautilus hook that misses. I don't think I've seen that in literally ever existing. And this time, Mystique's the Jojo does up the start as well. Contracts with enough burst damage helps out the fight. But again, this was EG who were able to actually set this fight up very well. Because some of the initial tools were burnt, trying to find some pickoffs. Mystiques and Jojo Pyun come around from an angle that they weren't expecting. And from there, they use a bunch of the early base damage of like the Lee Sin and the Gwen with multiple abilities, multiple auto attack buffs, and things like that to really cement themselves into a fantastic place. Now you look, Tony top 2-1-4, even in CS, but massively advantaged over this Aurelia top lane. That's never coming back to the favor of the Aurelia for a very long time. Jojo Pyun's in that same place, and now also Rosethorn's been put so far down that Contracts should be the one with the prevalence, even with these powerful solo lane combinations with the Sejuani CC. It's tough to try to use when you're down this much gold. Now even Rosethorn.
Yeah, like they do not stop. They're in his jungle every single time. Oh, the kick! What a play! Contracts!
That is the perfect set of plays right there, because it started with Mystique's finding the E, then getting over top. I believe it was a flash that had actually gotten him to the blast cone to knock him up faster, and it would have sent him over the wall to Krugs, but communicates this to Contracts. Contracts kicks him in the wall, and they maintain that kill after taking the red buff. This is unceasing aggression into Rosethorn thus far.
Yo, Contracts saw what happened yesterday, saw Kenvi, and he's like, nah, I've got it better, and I'm going to do it a couple more times, too. He has been relentless in this game. 3-0-3 on the Lee Sin. We set it up from the draft. This is the man that needs to get ahead. He needs to find tools. He's found them all. He's in a tool shed right now.
It's working really well. I just want to reiterate everything that happened, because again, this was perfectly played from the combination of EG. That's the E. Was it a flash? No, he just raced him to the blast cone. The kick keeps him away.
Oh, that
so
kick.
Pretty. It's so pretty to come through. And even worse, like if your bot lane roams up here, you saw Jojo Pyun that first move as well.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't even win that fight because Jojo Pyun would have been there faster. I cannot believe how just incredibly together EG is playing this game around the support of the Lee Sin to make sure that this early game for the Sejuani is not just exploited to unbelievable levels to try to deny these solo lanes the power that they desperately need to find.
Now, Rosethorn was able to get something back there, was able to get the Rift Herald, so also looking for some chicken nuggets here on the wrong side of the tracks, at least, because Contracts is coming down this way, but it looks like he'll be able to secure those as he goes for the top side of the jungle, maybe actually looking for a gank. But Rosethorn, as I said, able to get that Rift Herald. Want to see where it's going to be used here, because you've got to try and put a hold on this aggression that EGA have found, as they are looking for more in top. We get the flank on the other side of it. Oh no, Niles is dead. He had help in Rosethorn, but Rosethorn's too far behind. Just gets caught out, and that's a rampage now for Contracts.
Not fast enough. And now, like I said, this side lane, I think, is very near impossible to have to deal with like the advantage that's been held by Tony top. Rosethorn's been pushed out of the game. While yes, the Rift Herald's down, I don't even know where you're going to be able to use this properly to get like anything more than just the average 2 plates that you get from it ambiently from just dropping it in a lane. Even bot lane isn't going particularly well because none of the kills went onto Prismal or Newbie, so you are able to really exploit that either for further turret plates. It's just Team Luke and Mystiques catching wave after wave, actually up about 10 CS right now. So the entire map from Golden Guardians not looking like a perfect situation to be in at the moment. Their scaling is there, and I will say the one thing I can commend about Golden Guardians is their ability to play out late game team fights. They did that just the other day against FlyQuest. They had a really good set of team fights that had come through in game 1 that won them that series against our #1 team right here. But I don't even know if that's really in their favor, given the fact that you've got this Sylas and this Gwen who are both so far ahead, and an Ezreal also to scale into the late game out. I'm kind of worried about that as well.
Yeah, it can look a little bit dire, but you know, you can find those incremental advantages in. You've got about 2.5 minutes for another dragon to spawn. Very slow on the timers, at least right now, for those objectives. EG able to take that first one, but was a little bit farther behind. I'm still looking at this Rift Herald counting down in Rosethorn's pocket. Want to see where that proactivity comes in that aspect of it, where he's looking to dump that gold. Because at this point, unfortunately, like we put a ton of eggs into the basket in top lane. Tony Top has taken that matchup, right? There's not really much that you can pull back from it for GGA, so I'm looking at mid and bot lane, but how do you still find the moments to use this Rift Guard without giving it to waste?
A good question. Like I said, I think at some point you're just gonna have to cut your losses, throw it down on a lane, and say, okay, here's 600 gold or something with somebody, and here's 300 gold to split between the two of us, because that's about what you're gonna get. The alternative is you try to move Prismal into the right place, because it has been Team Luke has been focusing really heavily on catching wave after wave in bottom lane. You seeing a move like this where you could drop Rift Herald in mid lane, try to burst down a tower with a W as well, because it's effectively 3 full plates that you can get off the back of it. So if you can push in enough, you might be able to find it, but the counterplays here from EG.
Glacial Prison available for JoJoPyun. They have a lot of engage here, as well as Mystique. Doesn't have Solar Flare yet, but has the Zenith Blade, and that's all you really need, as he's already down. Newbie's gone frontliner for GGA as everybody else running away.
That it is. And again, this is the attempted aggressive play coming out from Golden Guardians, where they're like, okay, we can make this Rift Herald play work. We can try to blitz down this tower and get like a full mid tower down, or at least pull like 3-4 plates or something off it to make sure we can get a gold back. But this was prepared from the side of EG. They knew from the get-go exactly where their Ziggs was going, because they had the bottom side scuttle. They had walked right through it into mid lane, and they were prepared for the play that was coming out. They shoved back GG and find another kill onto Contracts. I will say I want to see Contracts get a little more aggressive to set his lanes up into good places, because even to this moment, Niles is still being competitive with Tony Top, even though it's not pure winning. W's gonna be able to block anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say they also TP for it, so they want to go back in. Now you get the TP from Yunbi, but is it gonna be too late? Vanguard's Edge comes out. The Rosethorn is deep in the fight, and now you got JoJoPyun on the back. TP's adding more chaos to the fight. Big Mega Inferno Bomb, but it's not enough. And EGA just take what they can, take a couple kills, don't lose a single member, and now we're looking at first tower.
I was about to say maybe they can try to salvage in like the later stages of this laning phase if the Aurelia can stay relatively like relevant and farm, but even to this moment now, Tony Top is just ungankable, untouchable, able to be responded to, and now top tower is going to fall as well into the pockets of Gwen. At this point, I think the lane is over. I think the majority of this game has fallen to pieces from Golden Guardians from the get-go, and it's just not, they're going to back off here. Even though they could have maybe stayed, I think it would have gotten a bit weird, because like Niles could show up and all of a sudden you're pushing for too many, or you're going to mess up your wave or something. So instead, Tony's just going to let this wave die. He's going to come back and be able to compete in the middle of the lane up against Aurelia, who just has nothing to work with a completed Rift Maker.
Too, with the Dragon coming up on the board. So right now I feel like EGA just have the power stroke.
They have everything.
If you can get a TP play on the Dragon, if you even have to commit a TP to that aspect, like Niles can't join, but as well as you've gotten such a lead in top lane that if Tony Top is able to join a fight, it completely turns it. And we'll see, the big focus from EGA right now around this pit. See if Rosethorn wants to move up at all to try and contest this. I don't feel like it's a situation where you want to, and you immediately see the rest of GGA are kind of backing off, playing a little bit more defensively, as this objective will go down to EGA.
There is not a winning position on this map right now from the side of GG. Top lane is in complete and utter disarray for the majority of, probably ever at this point. Right now, Contracts is just obscene and able to do things. If Mystique finds E, okay. Yunbi thankfully able to ult.
Yep. Solar Flare comes out though, and Yunbi goes down. Another kill, a third kill to JoJoPyun.
Huge. As the Silas is now able to impact the map really effectively as well. And now even Contracts getting aggressive, making sure that there's no play from Prismal to shove up mid-wave as well as top wave. Tony Top, again, he's low-key playing weak side, even though he's ahead, just because this is the only place that GGS can try to find plays, but he's just not having it. He's saying, I'm not going to get run down as Gwen. You're not going to be able to find anything with my W, so he just hangs really far back. He's okay giving up farm, giving up pressure into this top tower, and giving some resource, because the rest of the map, again, falling to complete pieces here from GGS. They're now sitting down 6,000 gold across the board here. I think just about every position is down in gold to their opposition at this point. I really am struggling to see finding their way, and he's out.
He's in and out.
Oh, goodness.
Just making a local stop at your local donut shop or something. We need a I don't know, donut skin for Lee Sin or something. That'd be amazing. But 6-0 for Contracts feels really good on the Lee Sin, because you're able to do things like this and you're able to keep that pressure up. We've seen them consistently looking for these picks, right? Because as Lee Sin, you can blow up a ton of the members on here. Maybe not the Sejuani, maybe not the Nautilus, but you're still looking for those advantages, and it falls right into line with what you were wanting to see of that aggression keep up for Contracts, as well as trying to get his laners further ahead. And when you're sitting at both your top lane and your mid lane at 3-1 and 6. Not too shabby.
No, pretty good. Almost even in farm too. It almost becomes a competition to see who can actually succeed a little bit faster here. As you put more pressure, lean into top side, able to snag that, and then also look at the bot lane rotation into the Rift Herald pit. It's likely they grab that one too, so that's another bout of gold that maybe could have gone to the side of Golden Guardians. It's going to be removed as well, as there's just I think nothing remaining on the map here for Golden Guardians to take any time in the next like 10 minutes. So EG, they run pretty much everything across the board right now. Like you said, I like this strategy from EG where Contracts is this massive focus, being the playmaker, being the carry to begin the game, and getting these solo laners ahead while bot lane is playing a little bit more reserved, allowing Mystiques to move a little bit because Ezreal has been big as well. But for the most part, playing this like bot side is reserved. Everybody else is playing on full aggression has been really good because you've got a very impressive top side of the map from EG, and Team Luke is very good in the team fights into the later stages. This is a comfortable place that they're always able to play from no matter what. This is looking like a game 1 win here from the side of EG. Even though only 16
Contracts with the moves. Oh, but Prisma with the moves of his own, and now Contracts and Mystiques are on the wrong side of the fight. Contracts gets shut down by Rosethorn. As the Rift Herald goes down, the tower doesn't fall, and now Niles going forward the Vanguard's edge has found JoJoPyun, but can't get the follow-up there, can't get the CC chain from Rosethorn. They do get one.
Underneath the tower. Contracts with a really solid kick. Can't quite capitalize because Prisma was able to throw the bomb down fast enough to get over top of the wall, which was nice. The crazier part was he almost found another kill onto Newbie.
Yeah,
it required the flash to come out from Newbie and also the stopwatch to make sure that that wasn't going to come through. And that's everything out, everything in the kitchen sink thrown out the window here for the likes of Golden Guardians, and still they got one kill. It's not too much. All they've really done is slow down this take. I was hoping maybe Ezreal would be able to shove back Prisma enough to take that tower, but it seems like they're going to have to wait at least another wave.
And especially, when you're looking at a moment like this where it is kind of blank canvas at the moment, right? You've got a like 6,000 gold leader just under for EGA. But for the side of GGA, like, yes, you've given a lot of resources top lane, and Niles isn't feeling so good on this rally, but you've seen moments of brightness, especially when you can get them all together. The question is, like, how far is too far? And you've got to stop getting caught. You've got to continue to try and press up when you can, but not overextending too much as GGA.
At this point, I don't know how easy that is to do pretty much in any situation. Now Niles, unfortunately the Glacial Prison is also available, so this is a very long range CC that can be used here. Oh, no. Nice snag up and into the Everfrost.
Got a decent amount of damage. Absorption, no, Niles! No, it's going to be given over to Prisma. The follow-up here, Yunbi is here. He's trying to get the resets. He does get the resets. And now GGA have found the fight. They've gotten killed, as that is a huge shutdown to Yunbi.
Okay, EG is getting really aggressive, trying to like very heavily accelerate this gold lead as fast as possible by finding picks underneath towers. This was a play that I was like, okay, I think this could work. They couldn't quite get enough burst to come out, and now you're under tower in the Mega Inferno Bomb, and it's enough for Niles to trade. Yeah, and then this is also another situation where you have more members here now from the side of GG instead of EG, and they're able to make this pick work. Tony Top again almost makes this clutch happen, where he could have maybe found 2 kills, but it was just enough from Newbie's hook to set Yunbi in a good position. Like, there's so much that happened right there, and a lot of it was just because, again, EG got really aggressive knowing that they're up that amount of gold.
All right, we see back on live. We got Golden Guardians Academy starting to take this dragon. Will be their first dragon of the game, first dragon of the Cloud Soul here, as they do secure that one. Contract's just making his face known. He's just showing up, making sure they can't. Oh my God, he goes in on a doobie. The kick back on the 3. They're splitting the fight. Contract is dead though. Niles onto Tony Top, and JoJoPyun's on your back line. And GGA are running away now because Team Luke is starting to pop some shots as they lose everybody. Team Luke gets the last kill, and that's an ace for the Evil Geniuses.
That was an insane collapse from Evil Geniuses. Because Golden Guardians, they took that dragon pretty quick, and at the time, nobody was really set up. But that multiple flank positioning right there from above them from the right side and also from the back from the likes of JoJoPyun just kind of threw everything into disarray immediately. Big props finding another strike back after that kind of throw in the top lane. They're going to go towards Baron. They do have damage with Ezreal and with when to do this. It's a little slow because it's very early, so I don't know if the competition's there. They don't have TPs to respond though, so this might not be fast enough. They could snag an incredibly fast Baron here off the back of this transition. Nobody's coming out quite yet. They're responding in mid lane. They don't know what's happening. I think they just snagged Baron for free.
That's a nice pickup, nice movement from EGA. be able to take the fight and then move straight to the Baron. It was a long walk, but it was all worth it in the end to be dressed up in purple capes here. Mega Inferno Bomb does stop a couple backs, but it's not going to do much. And you got 5 strong inside of EGA.
Absolutely. And look at the positioning here, because first off, it's
Everfrost.
Yeah, it's the Everfrost into the kick. Like, those two combination of CC just throws everything completely out the window, and then Niles is able to get this immediate burst. But again, there's so many places that are getting attacked at one time that the pieces in GG aren't together to strike as one individual piece. Where, like, Jojo Pyun's able to take his own fight, Team Luke's able to free shot into the team, and Tony Top's able to take the engagement after the Aurelia ultimate is down. You just don't have the gold to fight in any of those positions when you're split up like that. You saw that in very high display. It's very, like, kind of converse to what we saw on top side for GG, where they put all their pieces together, they found really good value. That time, they got very low value for a lot of the ultimates that they were able to use in that fight, and that's why EG broke this game back into their favor with not only a fight win, but also the Baron off the back.
Yeah, I just think it's to see, like, we set out, we wanted to see the target calling be there for GGA, but then they get split apart by some craziness like that. Now, maybe the target calling is there. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, gets Prisma a kill. Can they return it? Oh god, the cavalry is here, and it's got EG's banners because they have found 2 right off the back of it.
It's like any time Golden Guardians have been able to find a play, the reinforcements from EG are right around the corner. They're there seconds later, ready to make some sort of strike happen against their opposition. They're really driving home the fact that they are putting these pieces together faster than Golden Guardians are, and making sure that they are never outnumbered in fights to take these gold advantages with them. So hard to fight into, even when you're in even numbers, let alone when you're down in numbers all the time to EG's comp, where they're just never letting you find those individual plays, those individual one-off instances of picks to get your gold and try to climb back into the game in that regard, slowly removing the options of PGS to get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, about just circling that 10,000 gold differential right now for EGA. It is huge in terms of, you know, the presence around the map where the leads have been gotten, but also the transition into the late game structure here for EGA, where you're getting Jojo Pyun with 14 stacks on his Magi's, going to be super thick on the Silas, and they feel confident moving forward at any moment here. They are pressing up anytime they see Golden Guardians Academy, and at this moment, right, like, you've given up so much early on, you just got to kind of think, what are the pieces for next game? Where are you looking at to really develop something from this first game for GGA?
It's another tough early game that had come out from them, and again, Golden Guardians, they're a team that, like, when they control scaling possibilities, which, again, in this game, it's a little bit back and forth, but it feels like their scaling is fine. They typically are capable of taking a game late if they can slow things down. This was a game where, like, you have very powerful topside to work with. It just got kind of counteracted in the very beginning, and your gold
if that
went down
first
so
play
far, you
goes
couldn't use
different,
it.
if that first play goes different, if they're able to secure the kill on the Tony Top, like, that is huge.
Not just Tony Top, but I think if their whole play in that situation plays out perfectly and they pull 2 kills, that this game looks completely different as well. Because of that interaction, and then the combined interactions from Contracts just loading off of that, finding these just, like, consistent plays off the back of that one kind of mess up to begin with from Golden Guardians, it would have just done so much to prevent this hampering of their composition from, like, accomplishing what they needed to. Because again, now Aurelia is down a ridiculous amount of gold. Viego has not really sprung into a position where he can carry fights, even though he's not doing bad. Like, Youngby's still, like, viable, but not, like, crazy. And Rosethorn has just been on the back foot the entire game. If those things aren't true, the mid game looks so much more dangerous from Golden Guardians to play with, and all of a sudden, like, maybe EG's comp doesn't come together. So while a stylistic shift back to some, like, controlling early game, playing for late game is usually what I like from Golden Guardians, like, if they go back to this and they try it again, just trying to make sure that their, like, early game planning is solid and that they're not going to lose on, like, a coin flip of some kind.
That's the thought process forward, at least for Golden Guardians. On the other side for EGA, with this lead, you expect them to be able to close it out cleanly, right? I mean, 10,000 gold is a pretty hefty sum at 25 minutes in, especially when you've got so much presence around the map. You now have sole point for yourself, and they've gotten such a big lead on these carries themselves that, like, I would like to see some finishing out here quickly, right? Like, I don't want to see them stagnate and let some of the scaling really come online for GGA.
It's a matter of, okay, what do they siege with? They've got Ezreal, and they're playing into a Zig, so it's kind of difficult to wave clear. So if they end up getting stagnated, I think that's one thing. The Baron buff going over to them on this next one in a minute 19, setting them up for at minimum soul point, if not just like inhibitor and everything else to come out, is far more important to me than them not being able to finish in the next 5 minutes or something like that. So it's like, okay, Yeah, like if they get stalled like 10 minutes because Ziggs is just wave clearing and they have to go for 2 Barons, that's okay. I just want to see them cleanly take
it's
those,
the
like,
moments.
that time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily like I want to see them finish it right now. It's I want to see them finish it out cleanly with a lead like this and a team comp, and especially the team itself, right? With the players we have and the kind of synergy we've seen them really build over time over the split, like they should be able to take a lead like this and hammer it home.
Well, we get to see whether they can do that in 30 seconds because they've got a Baron buff and they're going to have the ability. They're already pushing out Vision, so they're going to make sure that they have control of this top quadrant to work with. Rosethorn's really trying to push in Vision just so they can have some semblance of maybe an attempted effect across all things. As Contracts was like low-key just like kind of fishing for what Rosethorn was, had a couple of members in the area maybe to help support that play, as they're just not allowing them to put any Vision in. They do not want to contest. They're saying, do not contest us. We will not stand for it. Do not walk into this jungle. It is our jungle. We're up 10,000 gold to 26 minutes. This Baron is ours. You can try to fight us eventually. That's going to be your way back in. You're not going to contest us here.
The Baron does spawn. It looks like
Got a...
I believe I'm back. Sorry,
yeah.
I got disconnected for a second, but right back to it. Into the Baron pit goes EGA.
They do. And again, they shoved up top wave, they shoved up mid wave. There's the attempted play, but JoJoPyun's behind everybody. You gotta be real careful because this Glacial Prison can cut them off really easily.
Rosethorn's caught here. They're finally committing the TP from Niles. They might want to look for the re-engage. There's still a 10,000 gold deficit, but they want to go for the refight. They want to take this damage into the composition of EGA, as some of the poking coming down from Prismal is pretty big. But now JoJoPyun over the wall! You're insane! As they take down the carries so far. Yunbi and Niles able to pull back something here, but EGA, they found the master plan, and that is huge. Unfortunate. It's still up 6.
That it is. It's really well played here from the side of EG, where they're baiting for like a Baron buff fight. They could take Baron, they could commit to it really hard. GGS knows there's like not a bunch of opportunities left, so they go, okay, this is probably the best one we're gonna get. JoJoPyun's able to threaten them enough off the initial engage, and none of them burn ultimates, so then they just find this massive play over the wall from the Silas, and that's all that's necessary to close things out. Hero play to end things from JoJoPyun off the back of that fight, but an immaculately played game across the board from EGA in this 2-game series.
And they're going to pad their stats just a little bit higher there as EGA take game number 1 in this best of 2 series in dominant fashion.
Extremely well played. Yeah, extremely well played. It started off with like some of the early game plays that had come out where it was like, okay, they won in what are effectively like coin flip positions where either one could have done poorly, and it was the individual play of like Tony Top and JoJoPyun to be able to actually really like take and hammer home these advantages, and from there Contracts just kind of ran through early and mid game. Off that, again, the one stumble was that overextension on top side that led to Dragon, but immediately they strike back, and that was the only thing that they gave over to the side of GGS, not allowing them to ever get this top side going, not allowing the bot lane to scale at all, not ever allowing that comfort zone for the side of GGS to develop whatsoever.
And I gotta shout out that I liked the composition from Golden Guardians Academy. I thought that it looked really well, and as I said in the game, right, that level 1 goes differently for Niles in top lane. Maybe the entire game is different, but when you give up those moment-to-moment decisions like that early on, it snowballs for the rest of the game. And even though Rosethorn actually looked pretty darn good on the Sejuani, the setup from the rest of the team wasn't there in this jungle style where you're looking to support the team.
I agree. I like the comp coming out from the side of GGS. It's just that when you give openings like that over to players like Contracts who can exploit them that hard, he's going to do it. And that's exactly what happened, where it's not even the weakness of like that top lane flip, which ended up being the 1 kill that had gone over, 2 kills eventually that go over. But then the pressure further put onto Rosethorn by Contracts in multiple scenarios, not just
knowing
the initial
exactly
invade,
where he's going to be.
2, 3 after that. Yeah, all of that culminated in just a really difficult game for the jungler to have any effect. And as that kind of like came together and Rosethorn was shoved out, having no effect on the map, that's when Contracts started transferring it into this laning advantage for Tony Top and for JoJoPyun to start taking team fights and things on their own.
Yeah, it was an immaculate performance from EGA. On the other side of it, though, we got to see what GGA can respond with in game number 2. We're going to take a little break, step away, rest up a little bit, but we're going to be right back into the action right after this break.